Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mansillon. I wanted to come to make an English video of that about this astrology discussion that I just made in French. In essence, there is many ways to approach astrology. It can be an art or a science. It is something that if you do not believe in it, you will not have a conscious influence. But it is our relation to those things. I'm mostly interested in tropical astrology. I'm not really interested in sidereal astrology. For me, it looks at the past, when tropical astrology gives us a glimpse into the future. I have a very personal approach to astrology. You got to follow your own intuition, your own connection, and but in essence, astrology will give us the understanding of what our life filters are, how we react to life. Because when we were born, we were imprinted with celestial energy that conditioned the whole existence of our reality. Within this physical realm, and so it is important to know the 10 essential planets and the maybe five asteroids, like the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Chiron, Vesta, Juno, Ceres, and the Pallas. If you can already know those things, if you can learn them by heart, because those will be valid for all of our life. This astrology is valid, but there are also very small planets that we have not yet come to the understanding of their influence in astrology. And so those paintings I'm doing, this is my own chart, but it incorporates about 100 planets in my own birth chart. I think those paintings are very important because it is the first time that astrology is being addressed within the world of art. It brings a world of symbol and mysteries, and well, my work is very much turned towards those symbolistic mysteries that will unfold higher truths when we connect to those understanding, and also the future of astrology, because astrology will have to integrate some of those little planets. So I'm gonna make a brief tour. I'm gonna see if I can. So in essence, this is my own personal astrology. There is two ways to read this. First, you want to read it in relationship to where the planet fall in relationship to which constellation. But in essence, depending on where your ascendant is, will condition the whole relationship to all those placements. It means the house's position may be superseding the constellation within and of themselves. That's my view of looking at it. Of course, everybody, I'm also astrologer. I'm not an expert in astrology either, but I enjoy it. It is a mirror, like religion, like tarot, like sport, like art, like science. Everything is leading back to the truth, to discovering this higher truth. And so, in essence, I'm gonna. Personally, since my ascendant is the same as my sun, I'm a sun and ascendant Pisces. What you see is what you get. But in essence, the ascendant is the most important because it is how others perceive us, and it is also how we are able to communicate with others. Is through the doorway of that ascendant personality. And so ascendant is very important to know. You have to know what time you're born. It's good to know all those 10 planets and 5 asteroids if you can know them by heart. And if you're interested in astrology, to know your placement of those, the Sun, the Moon, Mars, because it will give you more insight and more detailed understanding of what other people may discuss when they do that. So in essence, I have Mercury, the Sun, Mars, and Chiron in alignment here that are opposing Uranus and Pluto. But I have my ascendant on 0 degree Pisces that's conjuncting Saturn at 29 degree, 28 and some degree of Aquarius. So I have a very strong Saturn. My Sun and Mercury being in the same position, it makes it more direct communication. And Mars in Pisces could be a weak position for Mars, but in essence, being in my first house, it gives me more insurance in relationship to what I need to communicate. Sometimes I just don't want to be too direct, but Chiron is the most direct connection. Conjunction within my sun when I was born, and Chiron was the most powerful influence in my life. It conditioned a lot of it conditioned my ascension process as well. in essence, then I have, in terms of the major planets, I have Venus and Jupiter in Aries, which is my second house, that's why I like nice things, and it's also the planets of luck, the planet of beauty, it's all conditioning about. To have that in the second house means is a sign of potential abundance on many levels. Then I have, in terms of the major planets, I have Uranus, and Uranus being the highest frequency or the highest chakra, and Pluto being the lowest chakra. Pluto holds the form, and Uranus frees us from the box. So they all they have it is just the way it is. We have to deal with the condition of our chart. The moon in Scorpio is really difficult. I have this moon in Scorpio that conjunct Neptune, which just makes it even more difficult. But then again, it is as I grow older, I am more able to integrate my emotions through that deep process of integration. And then I have Pallas, Ceres, Juno here in Sagittarius, which is the top of my chart. And then I have Vesta here also. That's in the beginning of, actually I put it down here, but it's in the beginning of Aquarius. In terms of the little planet, I thought maybe discuss this because it's really important. Like in my first house, I have those planets like Urania, which is the muse of astronomy. My interest, my personal interest in all those things of course the cosmos. Pandora, which is the insatiable woman. Cassandra, she's always like the prophecies that we do not hear. Orphea, which is the most wonderful musician the greatest musician of Greece. Chiron, which is the most important planet in my chart, maybe, or not my most important, but it is the one I seek to align with. About Chiron, I wanted to say that in 2019 it's going to start moving towards Aries, and then it's going to go back into Pisces, and then in 2019 it will definitely move out of Pisces, so we will no longer have to address all those deep wounds that we've had from the past. The work will be done, and we're going to be able to move with the energies of Chiron into Aries, so it will be a very, very powerful transit where we'll move into a faster consciousness, more integrated. And then I have a Metis, which is the goddess of wisdom here. That's part of my first house. On the second house, I said I have Venus and Jupiter, but I also have Isis, the planet Isis. All those little planets we have within our chart. It means that we only have major aspect in some constellation, but there are some minor aspects in all of them, and some of them may be powerful. If you don't need to know exactly where they were or where they are now. We just need to invoke the presence of those planets for them to begin to interact within your consciousness in your life. So here I have Isis, I have Eunomia, divine order. Isis is a mother energy. Ophelia, which is the fairy queen. Athena, here it's Minerva, which is the second planet for Pallas Athena. Eros, the god of love. Sphinx, the one who tests things. Atropos, who's the moire who cuts the strings of destiny. Industria, which is a moving force, which is the same thing with Enteramnia, not the same thing. Enteramnia is between field, is the transition, is the planet of transition. Cupido is an assistant of Aphrodite, so it is serving Venus here. Saturn was the little planet here. Saturn he was the son of Helios, the sun, but he did not have the wisdom of Apollo to move with the light of the sun, and so wherever he went, he would burn everything. Everything was burning, so he was sentenced to hell, to Tartar, because he couldn't control himself. Admetos is so those planets may have sometimes they may have subtle influence in our life. It may not be major, but it can all those things can have a little influence in our so in the future we'll be able to follow with closer attention from our psychic standpoint all the motions and conversation of those planets, and it will be as we move into the hyperspace of the fourth dimension. And so here I have Cupido, Sedna, which is a goddess of the ocean, Admetos, who's a wonderful healer. He brought people back from the dead, and the gods were concerned because nobody would die after that, so they had to find a solution. Then there is Eris, the goddess of discord. Here I have in Eris. She's the twin daughter of Ares, Mars, also. So that's why Mars at the beginning was very tumultuous. Then Chaos, which is the original, the beginning. Here it's all in the beginning. Those planets are moving really, 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 really slowly because they're really, really, really far away from the Sun. But sometimes little planets, those trans-Neptunian planets, can have very, very decisive impact on what's going on in astrology beyond what is on the surface, what we can see. Then in Taurus, I have Ornamenta. It's a planet of beauty. I have Proserpina, which is another planet for Persephone. It's the Lady of Light that was kidnapped and brought into the underworld. That's why the winter comes and nature withdraws. Diana, this is Diane. The planet is Artemis, is the goddess of hunting and the forest. She's a natural. She's very ecological planet. Lacéchis. Lacéchis is one of the Moires. She's the one that pulls the strings of destiny. Nemesis was the mother of Helen of Troy. She was the daughter of the night. Hygiea is the planet of prevention in medicine. It's Hygiene. This is the daughter of Asclepios. Arachne is the one who makes the net, and it's an architectural planet. She was a beautiful woman that was making beautiful tapestries, and she was turned into a spider. Tantalus is the idea of madness. Well, there are many others. I just I'm going to have to cut this short a little bit. But in a sense, I hope you use this. You learn. There is always something new to learn about astrology, and in essence, you want to understand what's the placement of those major planets within your chart in order to understand and accept who you are in this incarnation before you can integrate all of those aspects and transcend the limitation that those planets are maybe condition us to, like Saturn would restrict us to some karma or to the duties of our life. In essence, all the planets follow the one law. There is only one law. Everybody follows the law of consciousness, the law of one, the law of God, the law of love. For everything has to evolve, and in the process of evolution, everything and every being needs to evolve in the process. So it is a slow process, but everybody's contributing, and do not underestimate your own contribution in the growing process of the consciousness on the planet. Well, I hope this video was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.